Ba'Shem Yahushua Bashir Rakadash.
We also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. And we are the GMS Mystery Camp here doing a new moon service, all right, which is every new moon. And just a little info on that. Every time there's no moon, there's the new moon. All right, the Most High deals with cycles in His creation. Okay, so the moon has 4 quarters, right? It has a waxing phase, a waning phase, man. And when it wanes back to 0, or you look in the sky, there's no moon, that's the reset. No moon is new moon. Then it builds back to its waning phase, to its waxing phase, all right, which takes about, what, 29.5 days? All right, and that's a 4-week cycle. So it goes from 0, which is the new moon, that's the reset. That's what 0 is, the reset. All right, and then it waxes to a full moon, which is halfway. So anytime you see a full, complete circle in the sky, that's 50%. That means you're halfway between new moons. All right, go ahead.
Hey, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times.
And the word moon means month.
That's right, bro.
The word moon means month.
Right.
So you measure the months through the moon.
Well, month means moon.
I'm sorry, the word month means moon.
Right.
And you measure the months through the moons, the water.
And a sign of the world, verse 7.
Yep.
From the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection.
What does it mean to decrease? She wanes.
Right.
She wanes. All right, when she decreases, she's waning. So what happens is, let's say you have a full moon, which is that's the middle of the new moon. That's you're in between the new moons. You're 2 weeks after the new moon and 2 weeks before the new moon. So after she waxes to a full moon, she's going to start decreasing.
Right.
All right, decreasing, and she's going to start waning. All right.
Verse 8. The month is called after her name.
Yep.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmaments of heaven.
Increasing is her waxing phase. All right, Elder Kazai, you got something?
Bro. This Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. And the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
There's a moon, Elder Yashimai from the affiliate camp. He was like, we got the hunter moon coming out. He was like, just look it up. And I looked it up. It went back, and this was like, I want to say November, December. But the hunter's moon is the moon that signals to basically hunters that now deer is gonna come out. So I think it's like a plus size moon. But it's basically saying the weather's finna shift to cold, and now the deer is finna come out. We're entering deer season. So they call that moon the hunter's moon, just to prove that the moon is for signs, man.
Wow. That's the point on it, bro.
Okay, come on, you got it, bro.
I got both on Google and Edamon. This is that word waning. It says for the moon to wane away, it means it's transitioning from a full moon to a new moon, becoming smaller and less illuminated each night. And then the Edamon says,
Transition means what? Change. You know?
the Edamon says, especially the periodic lessening the visibility of the moon.
The periodic lessening. So you got the increase and a decrease.
Decreasing in her perfection.
Meaning she's starting to wane. She's waning from that full state. It's halfway between new moons. All right, she's decreasing back to that 0, which is the cycle, the reset, which is the new moon.
They clock in the sky.
They clock. Come on, man.
Because you watch ancient movies, even when they will have war council, you know, you might hear the general or the king or the captain. He say, "Well, we'll invade in 2 moons." You know what I'm saying? So they will set even war and invasions based off, you know, the moon.
And I know Gad measured those moons too.
Yeah.
Let's say many winters ago.
Yeah.
All right, many winters, man.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, the Most High deals with those signs. That's why you have a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse.
So, just to land back, just to add, because I know you'll watch some of those ancient movies. They'll have this particular what you call it? It's like a clock for the sun, like this what's it called?
Sundial.
Yeah, sundial, and that's how you would count the hours based off of the sundial. So so the sun, like we be able to tell the time, like the hour of the day. But with the moon, like you going into like for the months.
Hey, that's a calendar. That's a system, man. All right.
I know.
Caprice Lamar, you got it.
This just the writer going what y'all going to from Chat GPT. It says timekeeping and rituals. The moon's phase helps structure religious festivals, agriculture, and daily life. Full moons and new moons often mark important days for worship and social gatherings.
And then you mentioned agriculture. What I've learned, the new moon and the full moon, I think it's according to the Farmer's Almanac. The new moons and the full moons pull the water up out of the soil. So farmers, they'll measure those new moon cycles to determine when to plant certain crops. Because once again, just how the moon being a satellite pulls water out of the ocean and it causes tides, all right? The new moon and the full moon, they pull water up out of the soil. And people too. That's why you have something called a lunatic. All right, go ahead, Priest Captain
Can I
Sequoia.
say this, dude?
Yep.
Say this.
Yep.
So where they get that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from?
It's not in the Bible.
It's not about.
Gregorian calendar.
Hey,
That's what it is.
I think
they just made
each
shit
one of
up.
the days goes to like one of those Greek
Greek
mythology.
Roman gods.
Yeah, the Greek Roman gods.
But y'all hear that tornado siren? It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Is the first of the month. That's their sign.
June 1st,
June 1st.
12 p.m.
June
This
1st.
Matthew 17:15 is get to the point. I'm sorry, verse 14. It says that when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, Yahushua, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he fall into the fire and off into the water. So lunatic goes to like a genetic disorder, involves like trauma or seizures or things of that sort. But once you go to lunatic in the Edamon online, it says epilepsy being supposed to return and increase with the increase of the moon.
So he's triggered by the moon. The cycles of the moon.
The full moons, the new moons. They poured his water because you were made out of water, and they activated them.
Yeah, you have no control over it.
Right, it aroused them. Captain
You know them crazy ass movies, like werewolf movies.
Yep.
Teen movie, like, oh, the moon, oh, a full moon.
Hey, what's another one? A woman.
Yeah,
What they call a cycle.
a cycle.
It's cycling.
It's cycle.
It's cycling. That's how the moon has a cycle.
And she don't have any emotional control during that time.
During that time.
Like very high emotion.
Hey, y'all work with certain women on a job. If a woman kind of get out of character, she get a little snappy. Look at the calendar. It might be the end of the month or the beginning of the month.
It's her time.
It's her time.
And they be pissed off too.
Well, she kind of bitchy right now. Yeah. She kind of. Oh, hey, Captain Sequoia.
Yeah, just back you all up. It's Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Hey, but you know what? We basically entered into a different shift within prophecies. All right. But a lot of times, I speak as a man. A lot of times, those shifts on the planet Earth, that it's signaled by the moon. Like you might see a blood moon in the sky, but that's about to change something in the planet. You know, you'll see that blood moon, and that's about to. And now we're in a time everybody is wilding. You got brawls at graduations, man. All right, people. Hey, just in this little city alone, it's shooters that don't even make the news. Somebody gets shot at the red light. You know.
In Fayette County yesterday, they had a festival. The Fayette Festival. One dead, numerous injured in critical condition.
Is Fayette County, is that in Mississippi?
Yeah, that's Jefferson.
Damn.
Shit, brawls at the moon.
Now I get anxiety when people think about events. When people start talking about certain events that's gonna consist of a lot of people. Man, I be like, man, I ain't trying to, you know.
We just go back to the word wax cold, cold in the Greek.
Oh yeah,
Goes
love
to
many.
sukkos.
Yeah.
Go into like wax, a waning love.
Yeah, it was like, that's where you get the word psycho.
Yeah.
So, hey, we can ascertain through the scriptures, we can deduct through the scriptures in that definition. A psycho is an emotionalist person. It's an emotionalist person, man. All right, that's why this Jake, Big Ward, the genius, he was like, we're in a different time right now. Be careful how you communicate with people in public. The person behind the register, because it's hard times, and you don't know how they're handling their hard times.
Yeah.
You might be okay psychologically, but they might not be okay.
They ready to snap.
Yeah, and they could snap. And a lot of times when they snap and they catch the body or whatever they do, when they come back to themselves, it's like, bro, I didn't know I was gonna do that. That's a psycho.
It's controlled by a demon.
It's a demon, yeah.
I have what you seen that with King David. He numbered Israel, and then as soon as he got through number, he came back to his senses and he repented. You know, like I say, once that demon possess you, then you're in full. The demon's in full control of the action of the people.
And the Most High so cold, he did that because Israel was going off.
Mm-hmm.
So he had King David possessed, you know what I'm saying, to judge Israel. I got to put that a lot too.
Okay, you got a whole lot.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 27, verse 11. The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changes as the moon.
Psycho. Psycho.
That's a
Lunatic.
psycho.
You know what that means? And read that again.
Run that back.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 27, verse 11. The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changes as the moon.
Hey, he has an unpredictable behavior. You don't know what spirit he's coming in.
I see the godly is cementing Yahweh Shah.
Right.
I want to add the scripture that says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Because you're not anchored in those scriptures. You're not anchored in the laws. You're not anchored in the scriptures. You're not anchored in the wisdom. So your behavior is based off your mood, your spirit, what demon is possessing you at the time. All right, you got to
Well, yeah, just real quick, because you had just mentioned the siren going off, because quote unquote the so-called first of the month, according to Esau Edom time, you know. But basically, when you hear that siren going off, you know, insinuating it's the first of the month, really it goes back to the Hebrew way, you know, because we did this during the Sabbath or the new moon. And this is Psalm chapter 80, Psalm chapter 81 and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, signaling the first of the month. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
Real fast. Can I match you? This is Isaiah 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another.
It is.
Yeah.
Psalm 81 and 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob.
But this is just another, when I was going into the psycho, so I looked up on Chat GPT, what is a psychopath? And it says a psychopath is a person who shows a specific set of personality traits and behaviors typically associated with a lack of empathy, remorse, and emotional depth, along with manipulative, impulsive, and sometimes criminal behavior.
They go back to psycho.
Psychopath.
Yeah. So, but hey, when you broke down the scripture, fools like the moon. Just like somebody you change based off your emotions, man,
Situation.
as opposed to being anchored by the scriptures. Because we all got demons that tell you things, or temptations, but you don't act off of it because of the scriptures. All right. So hey, having that sound mind. All right. But hey, you mentioned how for month to month is the new moon, and how that siren.
You get the bio what he had read.
That's what he connected to you with.
Yeah,
Hey, this is chapter 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, said Yahweh.
From one new moon to another. But that's where you get the term calendar from, because the word calendar means to call. So what happens is every new moon, because you went into the sound of the trumpet, the tornado siren was the modern way of sounding the trumpet. So every new moon we'll have the sound of the trumpet. And that was the introduction for every new Shabbat. All right, it wasn't based off no Gregorian calendar. There is no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right?
Can I back you up real quick?
Yeah, come on.
One more. Amos 6, it's like Amos 8 and 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn and the Shabbat?
Yeah, because during the new moon, the Shabbat, everything would close down. They're like you see in this society, these pinnacle, so-called holidays, because holidays go back to holy day. These holidays, according to Esau Edom time, such as Christmas, Thanksgiving, everything was shut down. Well, back in Jerusalem, our homeland, everything was closed down during the new moon and the Sabbath. So you'll know we in the Sabbath, because no business will be conducted. Everybody be home, You know?
Like your point of the hometown where I'm from, grocery stores were not open. Stores just started open, what, mid-90s, late 90s? But like in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, the mid-80s, no stores was open.
Wow.
Hey, and
On
then,
Sunday.
but you know what? That's another fucking myth that we do the spirit breaking. There's not 24 hours in a day. It's 12 hours in a day. Which breaks down to what, 6 to 6? From 6 in the morning. Well, I'm not gonna give the number, but from sundown to sundown.
In the day.
Or sun.
In the darkness, he called. In the evening and the morning were the first day.
The evening and the morning, hey man. So when the sun goes down, that's a new day. That's the end of the day. When the sun goes down, that's actually you enter into a new day. That's why we do our Shabbats from like your Shabbat ends on the sundown. Your Shabbat start from sundown to sundown, man.
So that's why Esau, it only makes sense why he put 24 hours in a day, because that means he can continue to do oppression, man. Yep. Have people working around the clock where there's never no time stood still when it comes to his industry of working, man.
That's why it says, we can't get this, be not friendly towards our servants. And get the word friendly.
Hey, that's what they're talking about, how shy, like when he passed away. You know, that like
he had like
hour. That hour, like that day, like this. He died on this day, he rose on this day.
Yeah.
But they talking about how he died on that day, you know, that's been like he rose 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But how that preacher talking about it though?
Yeah,
they really don't understand what they're talking about.
It's
though.
like after the third.
Yeah,
after the third.
Yeah,
a minute after the first,
yeah.
Third, you gotta.
Yeah, but I think Christians don't understand like.
Christians don't understand shit.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But like the nightfall, another day, that's the day.
Yeah.
So they don't understand, but
That's right.
they don't understand though. That's what I'm talking
Because
about.
Christians can't see past their oppressive system.
Yeah.
It's a paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find out that we were living in a so-called white man's paradigm. But there was a world in reality before he came into power and created his own paradigm. But go ahead, Elder Kazak.
Brother, please a lot, guys.
Okay.
This is John chapter 11, verse 9. Yahweh shall answer, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world.
Are there not 12 hours in a day? That speaks plainly, man.
That's straight from the Lord.
That's right from the Lord. Hey, this is Daniel 8 and 26. And the vision of the evening and the morning.
Yep.
So the evening brought in the morning.
Yep.
Right? Which was told is true, wherefore shut you be the vision, so I can shut you up the vision, for it shall be for many days.
And the Most High will align you up with that circadian rhythm to where you will know in the spirit, I should stop eating after a certain time. Like you know in the spirit, I should stop eating after a certain time. Like it's time for the body to rest, for the body to reset, because the body works in cycles. Go ahead, bro.
Another point we're going into, I had to look up for you a lunatic days, but in the Bible it's 13 months. It just so happened that Esau got 12 months, and it's 4 weeks in a month, but 4 of them 12 months got 5 weeks in it. You know what I'm saying? So if you take that extra week out of them 4 months, it goes back to the original 13 months. Esau just changed up everything with the
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 30. Be not as
We'll revisit the 13 months.
13 months.
Hey,
Yeah, we gotta
Filter that.
Yeah, we'll filter that. Because sometimes they'll say that in a commentary, but you know they might not have a proper source. You know, but we'll revisit that. Yeah, we want to talk that.
This is Sirach, chapter 4, verse 30. Be not as a lion in the house, nor frantic amongst thy servants.
Hey, the house is America. America's the most worked country. You got 3 fucking shifts.
Yeah.
You got a third shift, which is the graveyard shift.
Yeah.
All right, now even with the first shift, sometimes you gotta wake up prematurely. You don't even get your full rest. And don't you know you can throw off your body's healing cycle because you have to wake up prematurely for work? But then you got people on third shift, they're working from like 11 to 7 or 10 to 7. Great, you're a walking dead person, man. Stuffing caffeine down your body, man. That's oppression, man. I really have to spit.
Yeah, sick of this shit, man.
Yeah.
This shit be cold though.
Yeah, I like that.
Psalm chapter 104 and verse starting at 22. The sun ariseth, they gather themselves together, talking about the lions, and lay down in their dens. Verse 23. Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening.
That's because you broke it down, Elder Kazak, with the spirit. The sun marks the hours. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand when that sun goes down, you take your black ass home. Why would you do agrarian work and you can't see shit? Are you in these tall ass cornfields? I mean, this is an example. And you gotta have a fucking lantern? No, the lantern is in the sky. So the Most High God, he has all the natural intelligence. The intelligence is within nature.
So look at that street lights before the
You
street.
damn right.
Right.
But that's like about to say, like, you know, really, the spirit, like, come on, kind of come on.
Then you got animals that signal that it's like nighttime.
They know.
Well, you got certain crickets, certain
Yes.
locusts.
Yeah.
They all make these. If you're from the country, you know, live in the country. These animals make certain sounds around evening time.
Yeah.
The owls, frogs, crickets. And it's all signs of like we're in a new shift. That's Yahweh's night shift.
Here come.
But you got the rooster that's signaling this morning time.
Time to get up.
Get your ass up!
It's the Heavenly Father alarm clock.
Come on, man. The systems are within nature.
Yeah.
You make a point?
Yeah, I'm just saying, that shows you how this Babylonian schedule is so out of whack. Because, you know, like with the graveyard shifts, why they call it a graveyard shift? You know, if you go early to the graveyard, it's like it starts off your circadian rhythm. You know, it's like your body's eternal clock.
You supposed to wake up at a certain, your body supposed to wake up naturally at a certain time, and it's around the same time. And you supposed to get sleepy around the same time. You supposed to take a shit around the same time. That's how you know you're on point. That's how you know you're back in alignment with nature. When you wake up around the same time every morning, when you start getting sleepy around the same time every morning, you take a proper bowel movement around the same time every day. That's how you know. All right, go ahead.
This is John chapter 9. This is John chapter 9, verse 4. I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day, the night coming when no man can work.
Yeah, and the Lord was saying that he was speaking from a spiritual standpoint. But you know, we can apply it in the physical as well. You know,
because the spiritual analogies are built off physical systems. You know, and by the way, when we go back to the kingdom, it's gonna go back to the agrarian world, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I can add, because at the time frame with Yahweh and the elect, well, the men with the truth with their own for a period of time, you know.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, starting at verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress and hire servant that is poor and needy.
Because you know, getting paid every week is oppression. Getting paid every 2 weeks is oppression. Once a month is oppression.
That's right.
All right, really, if you really get paid a wage servant, you're supposed to get paid by sundown. They even got certain people that they'll give you that check when you get done for the day. It might be a $50 check, but you got your check for that day. All right.
Don't you supposed to tax wages?
How can you fucking tax a wage, man?
Really, corporations supposed to get taxed, not the people.
Right, and then if you tax a wage, then the wage is taxed. Then you take that money that's already taxed, and then you buy food that's taxing you. So you take your labor, and they tax your labor, and then you take that money, then you go to the grocery store and you pay a tax on food.
And then at the end of the year, so like you have to pay them for work, taxes. You know, it's crazy, man.
A $400,000 house where you gotta pay taxes on every year after you pay your man.
Hey, brother got that definition for frantic?
I got it. This is frantic. It says insane, unexplained variant, frenzy, dialectal, from frenzy, affected by wild excitement. Let's go that
You're emotional.
Temporarily deranged, delirious, crazed, frantic, mad, crazy.
if I can make a point, because as of late, Spirit been on me to watch certain clips from that movie Dark Knight. I just speak as a man, but I think that was the best one, because Heath Ledger, his character, the Joker, no one has ever been able to top that since. Even that one guy from Suicide Squad, he still can't top the Heath Ledger Joker, and the way he embodied that character, pretty much that's the way the average American's gonna be when this society collapses, man. They're gonna be frantic.
He said it though.
Yeah, he did.
Like he said, like that movie. He said how the shit go down. People gonna act that way. But he said it though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I brought out the through the spirit, be not frantic towards our service, because it's a connotation of overworking. There's a such thing as over, because we're the banker's service. We're being overworked, and you're taxing us, man. You're not, and then now it's 3 jobs is the new normal. Why would I fucking work 3 jobs? There's something called work-life balance, man. So you're supposed to go to work, get your wage, go home, recharge, and go do it again, man.
You saw Salat. I'm not sure you saw the video. Pastor Hart did responding to this guy. Jake hella animated, man. That dude Nino Brown. Pretty much everybody can feel that this society is basically going down, man. And the one famous saying about Joe Salente, when people have nothing more to lose, they lose it. So the average American, like you said, is already overworked. No one has a working life or a work at home life balance.
Yeah.
People just work all the damn time, man. So when this shit hits the fan, people gonna lose their shit, man.
Because you know when you got the frog soup concept, right? First of all, the water is hot, right? But you really can't tell that nothing is happening. But when that water starts boiling, come on, bro. Yeah, hey, I might have looked up a different word, but basically, when that water gets too hot, you see pops. It's like pops in the water, the bubble pops, and these crash outs is a result from this society. It's like the pressure's up, the heat is up. So now that's why somebody crashed out. They probably been boiling or overheated for months prior to the crash out.
Going back to that video you and Cap Shaquat mentioned, Jake saying you got to be careful, like, being out and about and talking to people, because you don't know internally what people got going on.
There's people crashing out, man, because they can feel it. You can feel the oppression. They're giving you all this social media. They oversaturated your phone with social media and all these distractions. When you pull it down on social media, you stressed out and you oppressed. But they oppress you in a very subtle, sophisticated way, man. All right? Super Bowl. So you figure out why these two celebrities broke up. But the reality is, you working 3 jobs to survive. You can't afford eggs. You know what I mean?
Which used to be less than $1.
Yeah. Hey, they show a picture of the Walmart grocery baskets from the early 2000s versus the Walmart grocery baskets now. You remember 20 years ago, you got a Walmart grocery basket, your grocery list was packed.
Hey, boy, you're not lying. I used to be a bag boy, and shit, $60, $75. Especially $100. That's about 3 or 4 buggies, man.
Yeah.
Like really 2 or 3 buggies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
2 big bags.
Bro, I spent $30 at Kroger's off like 3-4 items for one recipe. You know what I mean? So okay, these 7
and that's why like you talk about, like, you got work so much. That's why the family structure's so fucked up, because they don't sit down and have dinner no more.
Nope.
Because guess what? They got to work. They can't. And I'm saying look, I know my boss for sure. My boss, when kids don't sit down at a table, and they got a big ass house table, they don't see each other.
So that came from, that's right. Hey, Aaron Russo said, Rockefeller told him that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get both parents out the household, now we raise your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's so crazy because people need help, but then nobody gets along. So nobody can be in the same house anymore.
It's like a house full of strangers.
It's a house full of strangers, and Eve, a lot of Eve is losing their job or losing Section 8. But your conditioning, you can't work with the average man no more. It's like you're a diva that needs help, and now you're incompatible. So people really going to catch you because their word is individualism. The byproduct of the westernized world is individualism, whereas the Eastern world is more of a collectivism.
It's not good for man to be alone.
It is not good for man to be alone. So one thing you notice, even people like in Central South America, or it's in the eastern parts of the world, they all have a group mentality.
Like
Village mentality. But in America, everybody's hyper individual. So now it's hard for one individual to fill their refrigerator up with groceries.
Yeah, but you know what? That shows you that Eve gonna feel it the most.
Yep.
Hey, you gonna feel it the most. But hey, some of the apostle had mentioned, Isaiah 4:1 is really gonna happen on this side, man. There's a recent video came out. This chick, she spent $10,000 to get a husband. You know, like she, I don't know, he's trying to buy him. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord, he's showing that basically like the man was the prize the whole time. Instead of you working for Esau, Edom, you work for another man's system. Really, the man of your nation, he was the prize. Like you said a while back, bro. The Israelite man, that's the establishment. Your job is serving him.
Yeah, your last name is the corporation. The way Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shah set up our systems back in our homeland, you inherited your father's estate. Now, today we have the same thing, but those estates have evolved into corporations. Because Kroger, Wells Fargo, whatever, these all started from individual Edomites. But now, they're so high, as the scripture says, the stranger that is within thee will get above thee very high. So Eve, you're still working for a master's plantation. You're still a submissive servant. You're just a corporate submissive servant.
You're submissive to something that destroys you.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like the nigga woman was tricked, you know, with these gifts, you know, the government, you know, these different jobs and, you know, this narrative, you know, being put on the pedestal. But now, going back to the frog boiling in the pot, see, now we're seeing the results of the seed that was planted way back then. You know, see, we haven't even seen the results of this the seed. See, what Esau does, he plants the seed now for the reality that he wants 12 to 13 years later. Like this Russian KGB, that guy, he said, I forgot his name, but he used to be Russian Secret Service intelligence. So he said in order to change the viewpoint of society, it usually takes 12 to 13 years. So what we're seeing them doing now, they're planting seeds for the reality that they want in the next 12 to 13 years. Like if we was here another 12, 13 years, like you would really see Sodom and Gomorrah on a whole nother level. But that's the seeds that they plant now. Drag queen story time, you know, everything is in the movies, you know, everything has a gay scene, you know, a mo scene. Like,
Hey, since you said that point, I make a point. And all these seeds goes where? Not to your conscious mind, it goes to your subconscious.
It's our period of time.
Yeah.
We was going to the demoralization.
Demoralization, because we looked it up the other day. Chief Keef, that I don't like, came out in 2012. That was 13 years ago. So now, if you look at that music video, the average Jake dressed like that with the ski mask, you know, like Jake coming across they graduated in the ski mask. You know what I'm saying? But you look, that seed was planted when you look at that Chief Keef, don't like, it was in 2012, 13 years ago when it came out.
Like I said, it's all gradual. Like even back in the day with a nigga named Sidney Poitier. You know what I'm saying? They had him dressing up in drag, you know what I'm saying? That was back in like what the fucking 60s. You know what I'm saying? Then you get Jamie Foxx in Living Color. You know, it was all gradualism coming up, man. Fresh Prince, you know? And that was over a span of years, man. Decades.
And them just pictures. Just like
Hey, but that's Esau's little monster.
Yeah.
Hey, same thing with Sexy Red, right? In Glorilla. But now they got pictures of women taking family pictures with their offspring with a woman that's half naked.
So it started with who? Lil' Kim?
Lil' Kim, she's the first one.
Yeah,
And really Foxy Brown, Jack, the 70s.
Il
Oh yeah. They
Go back.
Nana though.
Yeah, the Il Nana go back to deity that they worship during the time of Nimrod. You know, ancient Babylon. You know, they queen of heaven shit.
So Eve wants to be worshipped as a deity, but now her enchantment is dying.
It's Romans 8:19 within the NLT. For all creation is waiting eagerly for that future day when Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua will reveal who his children really are.
All creation. All creation, man. Everybody.
Against its will, all creation was subjected to the Most High's curse. But with eager hope, the creation looks forward to the day when it will join the Most High's chosen people in glorious freedom from death and decay.
Well, yeah, the brother Priest Bashai, Zaquan Bashai, he had mentioned ultimately it's going into us getting new bodies, you know. But we do know that you know, the Lord, he's gonna uplift the curse that's been on earth since the time of Adam. You know what I'm saying? You know, the other nations, they you know, ultimately wants to come back in power, but really that's going into us getting them new bodies.
Because that curse started in the garden, and that the decaying of paradise started with the transgression of Adam. So ever since the transgression of Adam, it was a slow decay. So because when the earth, ever since the transgression of Adam was a slow decay. Because and like the documentary was going into the days of the time of Noah before the flood. Mountains used to be covered with meadows.
Yeah, bro.
Mountains used to be covered with grass.
It was precious stones all on the
Precious
ground.
stones on the surface.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have to dig the stones up.
Yep.
And you already know the fruit. What cluster, what grape was a, yeah. So, and it's now we understand why they call it the beginning paradise. All right, but now we're at the death phase of it. That's why, look, man, you don't see berries anywhere. You don't smell fruit. All right, look at what color is that water right there behind us, man?
Dirty.
How back you
You got it. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 22 to 23. For we know that all creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. And we believers also groan, even though we have the Holy Spirit within us as a foretaste of future glory. For we long for our bodies to be released from sin and suffering. We too wait with eager hope for the day when the Most High will give us all our full rights as His adopted children.
And that's why no matter how hard you try, you fuck up somewhere. No matter what light you have, what spirit you have, you fuck because you're wired to that. But in the kingdom, you're not gonna fuck up.
Yeah, including the new bodies He has promised us.
And this is Genesis 3:19. In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread.
Right, because after the transgression, Adam had to till the land. At first, the earth fed him. It's like a tree reach his hand. I mean, it's like a tree reach his hand towards like here. You know, but now you gotta work for it, man.
So accessible.
And that shows, you know, nothing is new on the sun. Because like the elder was just saying, we used to basically just go out in the field, in the forest, pick apples, you know, berries and everything. But now look, now once again, you just can't go out there and do that, man. You know?
Back in Genesis 3:19, in the sweat of your face shall you eat bread. You don't have to till, work for it. Till you return into the ground.
Hey, somebody get that Ezekiel 36. I was gonna be better than the beginning. And it's gonna be the last round of scripture.
It mentions the garden of Eden.
Yeah, I want to say that y'all remember the old video that lady said, we can't wait till y'all come back to
Right.
And look, when you brought that church out there, I thought about it though.
Yeah.
So soon we get back in power.
We'll restore order.
Everybody gonna be
It's
good.
gonna benefit everybody.
It's gonna benefit everybody. Right now, no.
What happened when Simba won the war against Squash?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Mufasa was in power, Scar was in power. It was death state, man. It was scarcity, man. All right, so we have the righteous rulers have to come back under Yahweh Shai, man.
Now, so we're saying the apocrypha, multitude of wise, welfare, work. Everybody's gonna benefit off of the vibration of the Israelites.
Because wisdom creates security for the nation. Wise rulers create security for the people, man. That's why we have a child in power, and look at the fucking place.
Yeah.
If you put a child as the leader of your house and you leave, what's gonna happen to their house? Come on, man.
I seen that with my grandma. My granddaddy died. You know, the house started going down. You know, niggas started hanging around. You know, I seen my granddad living. It was just lively and destruction. He was certain my uncles couldn't even stop by. You know, they were banished. You know what I'm saying? They was niggas. But then my granddaddy died, and my grandmother was running. You had whole families in one room. Niggas shooting dice at it. You know, like it just went down. You know.
Because what's a part of our normalcy is actually a curse. Low life is a product of low life is a result of no leadership. So when the real leadership leaves, then the low life come. You know, whether it's females or males. You know?
Ezekiel 36:8 on it. It says, but ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches and shall yield your fruit to my people of Israel. For they are at hand to come. Verse 9. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn.
It also shows that two people ain't there yet.
Yep.
It said they are yet at hand to come. If you look at Israel now, it's dusty as hell. You know, because that land itself is mourning because her people are not in it.
It's not fertile.
Yeah, that land was created for us. You know.
She dry for him. She ain't getting wet
Yeah,
for him, man.
Verse 9. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. Verse 10. And I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it, and the cities shall
That's what
be
scripture
inhabited.
say, and so all Israel shall be saved. You know, ultimately all Israel gonna be in the kingdom, but this first go round, the Lord is only gonna save his elect, you know.
And the cities shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be built. 11. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit, and I will
And
settle.
going back to the beginning, because you read in the 613 laws, I have to go back over it. I want to say like one of them laws, it actually mentions be fruitful and multiply. So we're actually gonna fulfill that within the kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, beginning with the Israelites, but as well as the other nations and even the animals, man. You know?
So what does that mean, man? It means that there's gonna be sexual activity going on, man. You know, a lot of men saying it ain't gonna be none of that.
And sex. Because Esau recognized, so you think you've been a deviant by even discussing that. It's for reproduction. It is sacred. A marriage is honorable and a bed undefiled. So yeah, you with your wives, those are your wives.
Yeah, and it's pleasurable too. Yeah. What did King Solomon say? And the pleasure that came with sleep. So for reproduction and pleasure.
Because the earth is full of pleasure.
That's right.
Why? Come on, you ever had an orange, a pineapple, a real peach?
Yeah.
It's pleasure.
And like you say, that pleasure was an incentive to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the pleasure attached to particular things, because you reward the behavior that you want.
That's right.
You reward the behavior that you
Let's go, Chad.
all right.
It says, and I will settle you after your old estates, and I will do better unto you than at your old beginnings.
You know how good it's gonna feel to go home? To finally go home, man. You know?
And be lords.
And be Lord, as you were going back to the beginning, man. You know, I know this brother, he touched on it. A lot of different, you look at these particular ancient movies, they'll show you how kings move, you know, how kings had castles, the way that the cities were built.
Hey, this is a peasant. We don't understand that certain men in this planet have lordship. So if you have lordship, that means you're friends with the king. So you have the king, he's in power, and he grants you lordship. That means you don't pay to check into a high-end hotel. You got access to go to the theater. You could go certain places in his kingdom, and you got access. So it's basically you're friends with the king, and you have lordship in his dominion. You have access, diplomatic immunity, man. So it said we're gonna be lords over the new land, man, under the kingdom of Yahweh. So his men that pass these hours of temptation and make it through the fire, you're gonna have lordship in the kingdom of heaven, man.
Brothers, I was getting into it, amen.
Meaning, which is why nations gonna come bending to you. Nations gonna, when you walk in a particular area, people come, oh, this him.
Coming to America.
It is him.
Romans 86.
Like when we see that vibration in this lower nature society, dealing with those Arabian kings, they be having those foreign cars like Lamborghinis and stuff like that. And they can drive over the speed limit however much they want to. They get stopped by the police, they can't get turned in. Because they're kings to they're friends with the king, man. Going to that diplomatic immunity, man.
See them damn Saudi princes, you know.
They can't be touched.
Yeah, and we was gonna say years ago, before the Bible Spirit was on us to look that up. We gonna be living better than that, bro.
You seen that with Daniel. That's why Daniel couldn't be judged by no man on earth. That's why the Lord always intervened. When he tried to judge that, set him up, the Lord will intervene. He's like, nah,
This Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof.
Better is the end of this rulership than the beginning of it, man. We're at the tail end of this man's. Every time I see a store go out of business, that reminds me at the end of this
That's right, brother.
even if it was a store that I wanted to go to because I had an appetite,
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, it's closed.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over with, man.
That nice Mexican spot we went to Friday night. You know?
Yeah.
What you say?
Short on waitresses.
Yeah.
And then
It's a telltale sign they like ready to shut down.
it's an African shop turned to a braiding shop.
We would have listened to Shaquan, we would still been in there.
You know, I told you that they had turned Books a Million into a damn weave shop.
Yeah, books
Ah,
and millions
yeah,
in a weave shop.
Yeah, Eve, you know. Babylon through.
Yeah, so
I got something for that. Whatever. That was a demon, bro. Yeah, hey, I gotta bag my brother up. This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 2. Because I can break it down. Verse 1, Revelation 22, verse 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb.
Yeah, in the kingdom, you know, we're gonna have knowledge of these particular things that we're not privy to now. Everything, you know, now, this is what we need to know to be delivered. We're gonna speak about things that accompany salvation. But in the kingdom, that which is in part, it's gonna be done away. We'll have knowledge of you know, the zodiac. You know what I'm saying? The elders mentioned in the Performance Almanac. You know what I'm saying? No, understanding, you know, more of the laws of nature, and you know, having a better idea how to, you know, work with agriculture. Like we'll have that knowledge in the kingdom. But that specifically is going into, you know, the zodiac signs.
Right. Verse 2, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month.
Right, everybody over 12 signs, man.
Zodiac.
You know,
12 months. And the legal were of the healing of the nation.
Because the Lord deal with that number 12. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, that's the Lord. But yeah, I think he looked at, he was talking about that leak. So there ain't no 13 months. It's 12.
Yeah, the Google will try to tell you that it's 13 months with a so-called leap year. But if you ask for scriptures, there are no scriptures to show that there's a 13th month or a 13-month leap year. So I just wanted to correct that. You know, there is no 13 month in the Bible.
Hey, well, that's why we brought out Revelation, you know, 22 and verse 1 and 2.
And what does 12 represent? So yeah, you have a side of 12 disciples. Jacob had 12 patriarchs,
12 gates.
12 gates. Edom had 12 dukes. Ishmael had 12 sons. So, like you said, the Most High deals with numbers. You know, and those numbers have vibrations. You know, 12 months, 12, about 12, man.
12 stones on the high priest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Brother, I think about it. I ain't no name of it. That's about telling about it. I ain't know it.
Because like you said earlier, right now it's a Babylonian system where they do 60 minute hour, you know, the 60-second minute. All that goes back to the math of ancient Babylon.
Yep. Yeah, and we don't deal with the vibration of 6 in the scriptures like that. Howard Shai really deals with the vibration of 7. That's why you got like the year of Jubilee. That's what every 49 years. That's 7 times 7. You know, Howard Shai, the number is really 7.
Satan 6.
Say it again. Satan normally deals with that 6 vibration. With 6 is like one short of 7. It's one short of completion. You know.
to show you who this is in the spirit. 1 Kings 4:7 NLT. Solomon also had 12 district governors who were all over Israel.
12 district governors who are all over Israel. You know?
When he came back in his full perfection, that's Yahweh Shai. What do you have?
12 disciples.
You know? So it says they were responsible for providing food for the king's household. Each of them arranged provisions for 1 month.
We're going to go to draw this to a closing.